was good. I love that music.
It's my favorite track in Guild Wars 2.
It really is.
A lot of people get hype on a lot of the new music, and I'm like,
No,
it was okay.
that one still makes like.
It wasn't
I
it was no
love a
Auric
lot of
Basin.
the Heart of Thorns music, but the Auric Basin music,
Yeah, it's no Auric Basin.
it's good stuff.
Yeah.
It's good stuff. So, welcome to episode 4 of TyriaNow. I am Miko. He is Aaron.
Welcome, everybody.
Welcome to the stream. We've got a lot going on this week.
What a fortnight.
You know, after we ended last week's show, or last show 2 weeks ago, I said, "Oh my gosh, Aaron, we didn't talk about the quarterly earnings report." And he was like, "Oh, rip us." And we were thinking, "Oh well, no big deal."
Yeah.
Yeah, and then literally the next week it was like,
Yeah.
Poor reading it.
So yeah, it's been quite a 2-week a 2-week cycle, and
Yes. It's been I feel like the community is starting to come out of its period of mourning.
period of mourning / period of being completely toxic / period of misinformation. Like, just this whole period of total chaos, I'd say.
Yeah.
That's how I would describe the last 2 weeks. Complete chaos.
Yeah. It's, I don't know. One thing that I will say, I've actually been really encouraged by how much of the has kind of come together.
Mm-hmm.
Not all of the community,
I would
say a majority of the community have come together in support of the people behind the company, this studio that has created this world that we love. But yeah.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of positivity going around. I've seen a lot of negativity going around. I've seen a lot of critical thinking. I've seen a lot of swift judgments. You know, it's all over the place. But yeah, ArenaNet suffered massive layoffs last week. And, well, I think they officially went through beginning of this week, since this is Saturday, the end of the week.
Yeah. They got the notice on Thursday or Friday of last week.
Yep.
That it was coming. They gave employees the opportunity to kind of go home, assess whether or not they wanted to voluntarily step down.
Mm-hmm. Which several people did.
Several people did.
Yeah. A lot of, and I don't know who totally who volunteered and who didn't, but I saw tweets from a couple of the devs who left that are rather prominent ones that said that they volunteered.
Yeah.
Like I said, I couldn't give you like a straightforward list of it, but yeah, several prominent devs volunteered their position, which is pretty nuts.
Yeah.
Crazy.
In the hopes that they would save someone else, was what I think Aaron Lind had tweeted out to say. So 143 is the number that got reported to the state of Washington.
Like, that's what they filed in their...
Yeah, that's what they filed. Yeah, that's what the Seattle Times came out and said. That is 35-ish% of the...
Yeah, it's over a third. It's over a third of their workforce.
So, hey, QED. Yeah, it's still above the number of devs that they had working on Guild Wars 2 at launch.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
And a lot of the devs that are now kind of getting refocused are going to be coming back to Guild Wars 2, basically, from these two canceled projects.
Yeah, and that's what people were saying, that most of these devs were not directly working on Guild Wars 2, which, you know, okay, right? That's less of a blow to us, but...
The big names that went, like Josh Foreman, so tied to, you know, Super Adventure Box, which is coming in about a month.
And jumping puzzles in general.
He made some insane jumping puzzles, yeah. Mm-hmm. Matthew Medina, who's been with the studio forever. Gail Gray. That one was like a dagger to the heart.
Yeah, me. She's the face of Guild Wars 2 to the community for a long...
She is such a nice person.
Since the launch of the franchise, really.
when I went to PAX Prime, PAX West, a couple years ago, the one we met up, Aaron, I
Hmm.
actually met her. I got to go to ArenaNet. Chris got me in, and I met her.
Shout out to Chris.
Shout out to Chris, Black Lion
What up, bro?
Chess. No, formerly of ArenaNet. He left before all this craziness ensued.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, so Gail is just super, super sweet person in person.
Yeah,
And I would say that one of the things that we walked away from the PAX event was the just general enthusiasm of the devs and the love of the game. They were just like general, just in general, they're energized by being able to interact with the community and talk
yeah.
about the game and everything. So it
And
was, yeah.
yeah, and I do see chat lamenting the number of veteran Raid and Fractal team
Yeah.
members laid off, and that's definitely a bummer. It's definitely a bummer. It doesn't like, and this is the thing that I've kind of been reiterating a lot, is it doesn't mean that they can no longer make good things, right? Like that's not what this like. The people left at the company are very skilled, talented game designers. You know,
Hmm.
like I personally think things are going to be okay going forward,
I think
but it's
for,
not good news.
yeah, yeah. Being able to they're going to have to now get people onto teams and kind of bring them up to speed, especially things for like the raid team, which is the content that I engage with the most.
Mhm.
But the thing that I heartens me, I would say, Crystal Reed is still there. She was vital to the development of raids. Bobby Stein, vital to the development of raids when it was just a six-person team.
Yep.
Annette Ben P, who shows up in streams, he's still with the team. And still working on it. He was in Teapot's stream the other night when they were going through the balance patch stuff, and you know he was being asked questions, and he was saying, "All right, I'll go take this back to the skills guys and see what's going on." Blah blah blah. So it was nice to see that they're continuing that engagement with that end of the end
Oh yeah.
game community.
Oh yeah. I do see chat noting that they didn't use the specific terms raids and fractals when they notated what content they'd be focusing on going forward in their roadmap posts that Mike Z put on the
Yes.
forums.
Hmm.
I wouldn't. So that is something to note, right? I wouldn't say you can't hope for new raids and fractals. I would just say,
It might take a bit
that,
before
yeah,
we get another
might
new one.
it might take them a bit to get back on their feet.
Yeah.
And I'm not like I don't know, right? But since those are two very popular game modes, I wouldn't count on them just ditching them, right?
No.
But development on those two game modes has been slow even up until now,
Hmm.
right? So
Yeah, and they had the thing that they had kind of gotten into the cadence of was releasing either a fractal or a raid with a living world
mhm.
release. So everyone's been expecting that with episode 6 we'd be getting a new raid.
Yeah,
Whether that
I
happens, we don't know now. Um,
yeah, who knows?
I would love it, obviously, but and I know a lot of raiders would love it, but I also know that the raiding scene, a lot of the bigger guilds, they're losing people.
It's shrinking, yeah, because well,
Because
because
the people that that are more kind of top tier raiders, they like to be challenged, and so they're leaving.
a lot of people did not think that Wing Six, and I don't raid, but this the reactions that I gauged from the community is that people didn't find Wing Six as challenging as they would have liked to.
Yeah, I think the first boss isn't super hard. The second one is a DPS check,
Mm.
and the third, which I haven't yet seen, but what I've gathered from the raiders in the circle that I travel with, is it's a challenging fight. So I think a lot of people would prefer more Kadim level fights, less kind of whatever.
Like
Um,
people don't necessarily want to ramp up in their raid wing; they want three Kadim level bosses all across the board.
yeah, no, I wouldn't categorize it as a joke. That's where that's my personal, it's a disagreement. I enjoy the raids in Wing 6 that I've
Hey,
done so far.
I can't do it.
Um, the environment, obviously, it's a beautiful wing. Just the art assets that are in there are absolutely stunning. Um, but yeah, so we'll see. I'm I am of the mindset that we're going to have to give them some time to kind of get their feet back under them, since they're having to readjust personnel.
Well, yeah, just restructuring like the whole deal. Yeah, it's
Yeah. So
oh boy.
so we'll see how long the community's goodwill and patience lasts.
Well, and yeah, it's like Ink says in chat that he doubts that you'll see a new raid for episode 6. I'd kind of lean in the same
I lean in
direction.
that direction as well.
If we get one,
If we get one,
cool.
fantastic.
Right? Yeah, but I
I'm
would
not
lean in the same
expecting it now.
direction. Yeah, I would lean in the same direction of it's probably just going to be a living world release.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, what if they sneak alliances in there though? Just there you go.
That would be amazing.
It would.
But we'll see.
But yeah, like overall, I'm super bummed about the whole situation with the layoffs. Nobody at Arena, like, dude, go through my Twitter history. I've lampooned ArenaNet over and over again, right? But with no actual serious ill will, right? Like nobody there deserves to lose their job.
No.
You know, they're all very skilled, talented workers there. They all know their shit,
Yeah.
right? So it's an unfortunate situation. I'm bummed out. It's not good for anybody, and we'll just have to keep going and hope that they can keep going as well.
Yeah. And with their only apparently focus being on Guild Wars 2.
Mhm.
Yeah. So we'll see.
And a lot of people are looking at that as a
As a
net
positive.
that
Mhm.
Guild Wars 2 might be getting some more dedicated support, which, I would have preferred people to not lose their job.
Yes.
But if it does get increased support out of this, I will be happy for the increased support.
Yeah.
So you take what you can get in situations like this.
Yeah. And I think for the unnamed now canceled projects, I think it was a good idea for the studio to be looking and working on other projects, because they are basically right now just a one-trick pony.
Mm-hmm.
They only have the Guild Wars franchise, and that's not a sustainable model.
And the game's not getting younger either.
No. So.
And when you look at those earnings reports, mobile games, everything else.
Yeah. So, and that's the trend across the industry at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not just happening to our game, but of course.
And I don't believe there's any confirmation on what those projects were, but people are speculating mobile.
Because of some of the hires that were brought in.
Mm-hmm. They did hire some mobile
engineers.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Based on that, I mean, it's not a bad guess, right? High earning, relatively ease of development.
I think I felt slightly vindicated in that they said that they were non-Guild Wars 2 related projects.
Not Guild Wars 3. It's not Guild Wars 3.
Yeah.
People who thought that, I'm sorry, I can't.
I mean, the people who were saying, "Oh, there's going to be a Guild Wars 2 mobile," I was like, I don't see how that would work, but okay, if you want to think that.
I would have loved to see some sort of companion app, but yeah, if they were unrelated.
Companion app would have been cool, but that's not really a mobile game, and that's not really going to make them money.
No.
So I could see how they would want to get onto that mobile game bandwagon. But yeah.
Yeah, and chat also saying that they don't think alliances are anywhere close to done.
No.
I don't either. But it's a fun meme to say, what if we get them tomorrow?
Sure.
But yeah, I don't
and
think
the thing though, yesterday, did you get a chance to watch the Warclaw stream? I mean, before we move on there, do we want to say anything else?
I just hope that this situation does nothing but get better after this. That's kind of my closing.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The canceled Project Canta. No, Deo, don't say that.
I think actually, like, this is some more speculation that I've seen a lot of that I actually kind of agree with. I think the likelihood of looking at something like an expansion could actually increase in a situation like this, when the parent company wants to see earnings coming in.
Right. Because they've historically gotten sales spikes whenever expansions happen, which is typical.
Yeah. And they've already confirmed that they're going to continue with season 5, so obviously it wouldn't be this year. It would be 2021. if we were going to get NX back, right? Because a living story season is 2 years.
So
So
typically they go quite long.
yeah, so we'd probably be looking at 2021 if they were going to do another X pack. But
Yeah.
yeah, who knows? And like chat's also saying, it's too early to tell, even with that roadmap. I think that roadmap was from a place of sincerity, but that doesn't mean that thing like MMO development is always evolving, right? So that
Mhm.
doesn't mean that things won't change down the line. Like, don't cite this cheeky little forum post like 9 months down the road.
Yeah, it's
That's
like the
yeah,
the manifesto that gets thrown
yeah,
out.
yeah. Don't do that.
Um,
Like if they, like, oh, you're putting out a PvP balance patch, but you said you would focus. It's just like stop, just
yeah,
stop.
yeah. 4 years later, people will be quoting it. Yeah, I'm
Yes,
sure.
they will. Yes,
I'm
they
sure they
will.
will.
Inks. Absolutely.
Um, so transitioning on, they obviously Mike Z did put out that forum post giving us a
Yeah.
bit of an idea. I'm not going to call it a
Mhm.
roadmap, but a bit of an idea of what they're thinking
I would
of.
say their current intentions.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then they showed the war claw. The one, the one thing that I thought as soon as I saw Z on there was one, yes, good move to have Z on.
Hmm.
Good, finally some good crisis communications coming out of ArenaNet, which communications hasn't been their strong point. This is something that I've said over the years. But yeah, he needed to be out there in front. He looked tired and like he'd had the roughest week of his life.
I wasn't gonna say
And
anything,
and
but my
bless him,
chat was telling me last night in my stream, like, dude, Mike Z looked rough on the
he
stream
he
yesterday.
did, and I can totally understand why. I mean, I'm
Oh yeah,
sure
I get
he's
it.
had
I
like
get
the
it.
shittiest week ever.
Because
Um,
I don't know whose office they have to walk into to get laid off, but he might have had to do that.
I'm
You
sure
know?
he was in the room,
Yeah, he might have had to tell people, hey, bye.
and I wouldn't be
Like,
surprised if Miko was in the room as well,
yeah,
because
yeah, that's taxing on a person.
yeah.
It's taxing on a person. So yeah, I
Yeah.
don't blame the guy.
So, but yeah. Um, yeah, but he was a champ. He came out and he showed up. And then he stuck around for the Warclaw portions and was basically interviewing the two devs that were showing it off, which
Hmm.
is kind of neat.
The devs that were showing it off seemed genuinely into it, genuinely pretty
Yeah,
excited. They seem to be having a good
NP
time.
was one, and I'm forgetting the name of the second one. The
I kind
Marine.
of, I kind of clicked through it. I didn't watch the whole stream in its entirety, but I kind of clicked through it
It
to grab
wasn't very
some
long.
idea. Yeah,
Yeah, it gave a good, I think, overview of what the mount can do because it had all of its masteries
they gave
unlocked.
way more info than I thought they were going to.
Hmm.
They pretty much laid the whole thing out there.
Yeah, the
Like act,
collection, which I'm glad they did because
yeah,
a lot of people had questions.
yeah, like abilities, numbers, acquisition. Like they laid it all out. It's very they're not usually that transparent with
Yeah,
upcoming stuff,
but
which
I
I
think
like a
I
lot.
think again this comes back to their crisis communications and just communications plan in general for this week. I think they needed to be,
Yeah,
and I think it was very smart, and that
I think
they
they
executed
finally
it well.
learned about transparency. Wow.
So we had a summary here somewhere. Where'd it go, dude?
It's right there in the show notes.
I know, I'm looking for it because I'm scrolling. So Shaman, bless him, put together a multi-tweet thread talking about how to acquire this. 250 badges of honor, which is not a heinous undertaking. 50
You get
scrimmage tickets. I've
if
got
you've opened an achievement chest, you have 250 badges of honor.
yes. 50 scrimmage tickets. You've got to capture a camp, capture a tower, capture a keep, and then you got to get some random drops from guards.
Which, yeah, none of that's terribly like. I'll tell you, like, I'll be honest. I hate playing with Zergs in World v World, so like, I'll have to stick it out and do that for my tower and keep capture. But
Yeah, but it's no big
um,
deal. It's not like it's hard.
yeah, no, you just go to EBG and find whatever tag is running. You'll run through a keep eventually.
And they did say that you could do this in Eye of the North,
Eye of
Edge
the
of the
North.
Mists,
Hmm.
as well.
Yeah, and Eye of the North,
Except for the
guys.
keep and tower cap, I think.
There's actually a life hack. If you use your Hollow Monuments Portal Stone and go to Eye of the North, you get the whole collection for free.
um, Yeah. The one of the things that they said was that they had been planning and working on this since the launch of Path of Fire,
Hmm.
which I thought was pretty good. I was happy to hear that. It
I
wasn't.
imagine a lot of this, like the work behind this mount, is balance meetings, right?
Hmm.
Just meeting in a room and being like, "So, can we do this? No. What
So,
about this?
yeah.
No."
So, like, one of the criticisms that I saw last week, not last week, the week before, 2 weeks ago, before all of the layoff stuff happened, when they first announced the War Claw, was people losing their minds, thinking that simultaneous development, couldn't be going on for the mount
I
and
don't even
other
want to.
things world versus world. Which I know that you and I talked about this, and I was like, mount team, WW team. Simultaneous development happens all the time. Granted, we now know that there were devs taken off from Guild Wars 2 and working on other things. However, that simultaneous development was still happening. So
Yes.
it kind of made me happy that when they said that they've been working on this for a while.
Yeah, and
Um,
that was like my first thought when I saw people
Losing their minds.
lamenting this was, okay, so if I don't know how ArenaNet structures their teams, like whatever, right? But the logical thought process would be to have the mount team make the mount, right?
Yes.
Just because there is a mount team. This is like that was a thing, right?
Hmm.
So the mount people would make the mount, right? And then the world v world people would advise on balance. Would be the way you'd think it would go.
Yeah, that's how I would understand the
But
development
people
would
are
work.
like, I guess they're not working on alliances.
I didn't understand that jump in logic, but I can. That's why I was pleasantly pleased.
Yeah,
Pleasantly
yeah.
pleased.
And
Oxymoronic phrase there.
like
But
chat
yeah.
saying the reaction was basically, if it's not alliances, it's bad, and it's just like, oh no.
Yeah. No.
Like this could help bolster the population of World v World. Like a bunch of people will come in to get them out, and most of them will leave. Let's be honest, most of them will leave again.
Yeah.
Some of
Now,
them might stay.
now our meme title is PV players take over world versus world because people who
Yeah,
are completionists like me and only PvP like me are gonna get their butts in there. I'm already talking to a couple of my friends who are on WW guilds. I'm going to be transferring servers because I need to Zerg and like build up my rank and get all of this stuff. Get a gift of battle
yeah.
while I'm at it because I don't know what I'm going to make making my next legendary, but hey, might as well get something useful out of it
And absolutely. And chat actually makes a really
other
great
than the
point.
mount. Hmm.
Like chat says, I don't even understand what alliances really means. No one does.
Yeah,
No one knows what alliances are.
yeah. Only that
Even people who are like,
it's going to
yeah,
take away the server system that we're working on now.
yeah, that's all we know about it. Like nobody knows the intricacies of it. Nobody
I
knows.
always understood that it was going to be similar to alliances in Guild Wars 1.
Sure, but like, what does that mean for Guild Wars 2?
I don't.
What does that mean if I only play in a guild by myself? Like stuff like that.
Right.
It's just there's not enough information on it to really know anything about it, and people are so sure it's gonna fix everything, right? And
Yeah, I'm
to
sure
be
it'll fix some
fair,
things,
to
and
be
some
fair,
things
it's
it
all
won't.
they really have. Like
Yeah.
it's all they really have to cling on to, but still, nobody knows what it is. So
Yeah.
it's silly to get so bent out of shape over it.
Now you dev a lot more than I do, obviously.
I would not like before all the World v World players come at me in chat. I would not consider myself a World v Worlder. I'm a PvE primary player, but I do World v World a significant amount compared to most players, I would say.
Especially me.
Yes.
What's your rank? Your dev
Um,
rank.
1348.
See, that's a lot more than me
Yeah, it is. Yes.
by thousands. Yeah. No, dude, Josh, you laugh, but my rank is 2-3. 2-3. 23. Yes.
23. Yeah.
That's right. The big 2-3.
Hey, but lucky for you.
That reflects the 2 times I've got into World v World to get Gifts of Battle. And the first time you had to convince me.
You needed one.
I know, I needed one. And I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna die.
It's like, just respawn. It's not a big deal if you
I
die.
know. Yeah.
But yeah, and like
Yes.
lucky for, like you said, you're only ranked 23, right?
Mhm.
Luckily, anyone can get this. It's a rank 1 requirement. You just got to do the collection, and then you can start leveling your World v World mount mastery.
Yes.
So that's pretty cool. I don't have a problem with that. It's 125 or 6, I think they said total.
For
I thought 126 was a weird number, but I swear that's a lie.
to level the masteries, right?
Yeah, to
This is
level it all the
WW
way.
mastery, right?
Hmm. So people who are maxed out on their masteries and have like thousands of ranks will easily like insta level it. But it's something more to do with your mastery points in World v World, which has been sorely lacking. So I'm pretty happy with it, and it's more than 60 too, because the average track is 60.
Mm-hmm.
So having it be a pretty beefy track, I like that a lot.
Yeah, that's the part that I understand the least because I don't WW.
Mhm. And Inks does make a good point that you can reset your points. You can.
Yes. So it's the ability points, the WW ability points. Is
Yeah, I
what we're
call them
talking about.
mastery points because they function like as a clunky version of the mastery system.
Right.
But yeah,
Okay.
the world rank ability points.
Yeah. And that will unlock the skills. Now, as a PvEer, I really don't give a crap. I just want the pounce skill because the chain pull isn't going to do anything for me. Neither is the sniff skill. Um,
I'm so pumped about the sniff
the
skill.
sniff skill sounds really cool.
As a solo roamer, your worst night, like the worst thing that happens to you is getting ganked, right?
Yes.
The
Now
sniff skill should be very helpful in
and
being
it's got a
able to
range of
wear.
like 5,000, which
Yeah,
is this that's Mesmer portal distance. That's pretty big.
yeah, it'll be a great tool for keeping me aware of where people are, so I can either avoid them or meet them in combat if I wish to. Right? It'll help a lot in combating getting ganked, which I get ganked a lot. So I would
Yeah.
like to
And
cut down on that.
I think the pounce, the which is basically the engagement, the combat engagement skill dismount, will actually kill a downed player, is what they
It
were
is
saying.
it's an insta down. Yep.
So, which is kind of a neat way to interact with it. One of the things that I took away from as a non-WW person, and talking to my WWing friends, it was that they obviously thought about how that mount should be interacting with the WW gameplay.
Hmm.
Um, the chain pull does about 2k damage, which is about as much as a battering ram. So it's
Battering rams do 8K.
okay, so it's less.
Yeah, it's significantly less, but it's much higher than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
I
And it
thought
costs
it
one
was going
supply
to.
to have every pull, I guess.
Yeah, and it's like one supply for each pole. That's enough hits to be significant. Also, you can only have 3 cats on a door at any given time, which is
Mm.
pretty fair because that's 6K cat damage
Yeah.
on top of any siege you throw down. If you consider that a ram hits for 8, you've basically got a second siege weapon if you can pull 3
Right.
players on upgraded mounts. So
Yeah.
that's very nice, I think. I think it's fair, but it's nice. I was scared that it was going to be super low damage. So 2K is actually a lot higher than I thought it was going to
Yeah.
be.
And I kept
I
seeing
didn't
people
expect them
losing
to
their
limit it
minds.
though.
Yeah. I saw people losing their minds thinking that it was going to be a lot of damage. And I was like,
Yeah.
just give them a chance to talk about it.
It would be stupid if anybody if like 50 people could bust their cats out, right? But since they limited it to 3 people on cats, I think 2K is a perfectly good number.
Yeah.
Yeah. And chat's also telling you to save your World v World reward track potions from dailies. Probably a good idea. I have 0.
I have 0 as well. I've gone in a couple of times for badges of honor on when it was on dailies, and I've used it to level up my gift of battle reward track.
I mean, I don't mind busting out a reward track. That's like, I have a plenty of like guys. So there are plenty of boosters in the game that affect reward track.
Yeah.
Black Lion booster, XP booster,
WW boosters.
yeah, the birthday booster, and
Birthday
there's one
booster.
more that I can't think of. Heroic booster. Those 4 all help increase your reward track experience. So if you have any of those and you don't have potions,
Pop them.
yeah, pop them for this if you just want to get this track out of the way. I'm going to.
I'm going to too.
I've been saving them for a long time.
They've been sitting in my bank just collecting dust.
In case I need to do a quick reward track, this is exactly the situation I've
Yeah.
been saving them for. So I'm busting all of my boosters on Tuesday.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it.
How are you? Like how? Like just on a general level, how hyped are you for the mount? Like, are you pretty
I'm pretty
excited about
hyped.
it?
I think
Yeah.
the one thing that I liked was that we didn't talk about movement speed of the mount itself. But yeah, I liked that it's not. I mean, it's a cat. I've been collecting the stupid, cute little home instance cats. I've got
Wait, you
most
have
of
the
them.
home instance cats? I don't have any of
Heck
them.
yeah!
Every so often, I'll run across a random cat in an ice block, like just out in the world. And I'm like, oh yeah, the cats.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
it gives me a small aneurysm for a second, and then I
You
remember that those are a thing.
you can have you seen the Bitterfrost Frontier one, the snow leopard cub that you can save from an ice block and then he shows up in your home instance?
I believe I have, yes, because
And
I
then
find
he
myself
come
in bear
and
frost
every
and bear
time you show up in
frequently.
your home instance, he bounds towards you and just showers you with love. It's great.
My home instance is so empty.
I'm sorry.
It's so
I've got
barren. I don't
cats.
have.
I have a few nodes, but I don't have like a tricked out
I've got like a
home
sprocket
instance.
node and a random bandit
Okay, well,
chest and a
yeah,
crate obelisk, and
yeah,
that's it.
yeah. I don't have
It's
very many
very
things,
sad.
but so yeah, I am hyped for the cat. I think having its movement not exceed or not be excessive in World v World, like it has a faster movement speed on your own Borderlands, but not in other maps. I think that's
Well,
fair,
I
and it only
think
moves as fast as a griffin runs.
yeah, I believe what I saw was you get a very fast movement speed in friend. So
In
World
friendly
v World
zones.
Borderlands is divided into sections based on
Hmm.
who's capped what. So in a friendly section, it will be fast, and then in a enemy section, it will be slower but still faster than just running on foot.
Right.
I actually posed this question in my Discord the other day. What do you guys think would be faster, the cat, or in an enemy zone, or thief on foot? Right? People are still leaning towards a thief on foot being quicker in enemy territory, but it
Hmm.
should be a no-brainer to use in friendly areas.
Yeah. And you can't use it to escape combat, which I think is good. In the
Hmm.
sense that you can't use it while you're in combat. You can't mount up, just like any
Yeah.
other mount.
But if you see someone coming towards you and want to use it to try and run away, it does have some leaps like the jackal does. Um,
Hmm.
which could be a good way of putting distance between you and
Yeah.
someone chasing you. Now, if they mount up too, you might be screwed.
Yeah.
But if they don't have the mount, then
Then, yeah.
yeah.
Right, because
So
it is still required. You still do have to have Path of Fire.
yeah. Do you
So,
really? Do you have to have Path of Fire for
yeah.
this? I don't care about that. A lot of people are like, oh, but what are the free to play people gonna do?
Buy the X-Pack.
Yeah.
It's not that expensive.
Like I
Five
know you're
mounts.
like, oh, but like what about dude, this game is going on 7 years old. If you are still playing it free to play,
Dude, but
you
you know
don't
what?
care.
I think free to play is good entry level.
It is,
And
yeah,
if
it
you
is. It's
enjoy
for
it,
people.
upgrade it.
Yeah, it's for people who are going to play and not be invested. That's what it's for. So if you're invested, great. But if you're not, don't like whine about it. you know? Is that elitist? Is that like terribly elitist of me? I
Yes,
don't know.
it's a little, little
I don't
elitist. It's
know.
okay. But yeah, no, the game's not expensive. Um, I wouldn't be surprised if they put it on sale soon to try and get people into the game again. Um, when was the last sale that they ran? It wasn't that long ago, was it?
They run them frequently, but yeah, I couldn't tell you when exactly the last one was.
But I wouldn't be surprised if they put Path of Fire on sale soon again. Um, you know,
Yeah.
especially if they see a good turnout
Oh,
from.
it would be if they don't do it Tuesday, I'd be very surprised.
That's what.
Honestly.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'd be very surprised
yeah,
if they didn't do it Tuesday.
yeah. When it costs $50 for the standard edition. I mean, the thing about the standard edition, the thing about this game that I've always said is, I there are several reasons why I keep coming back to Guild Wars 2. Because I have tried other MMOs. It doesn't have a
Mhm.
sub fee. That makes me very happy. I can spend what I want on the game if I want, not because I have a monthly subscription.
Hmm.
The game world is absolutely stunning. The combat system, I love it.
Is this a commercial?
It's a commercial. But
Okay.
this isn't why I love Guild Wars. But no, but these are legitimately these are the reasons why I continue to come back to the game.
Mm-hmm.
Like XIV nearly had my heart, but that subscription fee, couldn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
That and the amount of buttons that you have and the global cooldown that each skill goes on as soon as you use one. It's like...
So basically, like, Guild Wars is a better game, so you play that one.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So for me, it's a no-brainer, and it's,
But yeah, I
Fine
do
play.
see chat hemming and hawing about what a roamer is and what a roamer isn't. It's just when you run around in WW and do stuff.
Without a Zerg.
Yeah, without a Zerg, that's what roaming
Yeah.
is.
I tend to like the roaming game.
There's different levels of it.
And the small little Havoc squads. I like that kind of gameplay a lot in WW.
Yeah.
So yeah. I think if I have to, because I am low rank and need to get the mode currency in order to get this cat. Yeah, and if I'm going to the trouble of changing servers so that I have people to WW with.
You said you're changing to Kining?
Yeah.
They're pretty active.
Yeah, they're pretty active.
Although the presence of like active guilds on servers changes on a weekly basis.
Yes, I
so
know.
Just be careful.
Time
I'm like, oh yeah, they're pretty active, aren't they? Someone in my chat is like, no, they're dead. And I'm like, okay. Can't keep up with it.
Yeah.
You can't keep up with it.
It's all right though. But yeah, no, I've got a couple of raiders who raid on Caning, and they're in a very active guild. That their sole focus has always been WW. So, and since launch, they're not going anywhere. And they're hardcore caning people. They're not going anywhere. So I think I'm in safe hands.
They have server pride.
They totally do. Yeah.
Inks does mention in chat that he feels it's rare to run into just one person anymore. It's usually groups of 2 to 3, unless you're streaming and someone wants to stream snipe you. Then you run into one person very often. Now I can see them coming.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to it. Are you looking forward to the cat?
Yeah, I'm super pumped about it. I'm not one of the negative Nancys. I can't wait. I've wanted, like, because I'm a roamer, right? So I'm just half of my gameplay is just moving from point A to point B.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and the mount is going to make that so much more brain dead for me. I'm no longer going to have to be like, all right, F1, F2, great sword 2. Like, I can just be like, mount up and go. You know, it's super chill. Yeah. Also, you did mention your low rank. This week is the perfect week to fix that.
They're going to do a bonus. Aren't they going to do a bonus?
Yeah, there's going to be a double XP bonus. If you stack that with a birthday booster, it is a triple XP bonus.
Dude, but I'm going to be stacking the birthday booster, the celebration booster, regular XP, the heroic, all the WW boosters I have.
If you do them all, it's a ludicrous amount of extra XP.
Yeah, so I'm figuring that I'll be ranking up pretty quick.
Yeah. If you stack all the boosters for World v World XP you have, this is the week to do so. So remember that, guys. If you want to get some ranks knocked out, max out your kitty.
Are you going to be streaming this on Tuesday?
I'm going to be streaming it all week.
Look at you.
Yeah, it's WW week on twitch.tv/GuildWarsMonk. Shameless plug.
You need to make a banner now. I need to make you a graphic. WW week.
World
schedule.
World week.
Schedule. Just get in here.
Schedule all week.
Oh, that's good. All right. Anything else you want to talk about with the mount?
I'm just super hyped for it, and I wish people wouldn't have been so negative about it because I think it's really cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
People are. One thing I will say, people are worried about the influx of PvE plebs. Like guys, there are people coming to your game mode. Be thankful. It's dying. Your game mode is dying. Be thankful that people are entering.
That's a thing. Explain what your jargon is. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what I do as a raid leader. I try to explain what our jargon is to people who are coming into raids for the first time.
Yeah.
Just let us know.
Take
We can
advantage of the
follow
extra
orders.
numbers.
Yeah. Yes. What We're not all nubs. We can't follow orders.
And
If you
even if we're
don't get
nubs,
into
as
your
long as we
in
do like we do what you tell us, be
Yeah,
effective.
and if you were not in your voice comms, don't like flame. Have the patience. If you're a commander, assign somebody to be your lieutenant that will be sitting in there and can type in commands in chat just so that we can you can get the interaction from people. And once they start getting more comfortable, I wouldn't be surprised if people jump into comms. But if you start flaming people left and right, I'm sorry, that's what turns people off.
Yep. And as a like, just to be fair, to all the PVE plebs that are going to be going into World v World this week,
Do your homework.
yeah, put a build on or
Do
something.
something that's gonna make you survive. Please don't go in with Zerker's gear. You will die.
Unless you're a backline DPS for the Zerg, like don't go in on a Berserker Guardian or something like that, right?
Find your
Like
druid, hug
do
them quick. Find your
yeah,
healers, stick with them.
like dude, there's gonna be a balance patch that day, so it's gonna be all over the map as far as builds.
Don't bitch
But
about the queue times. They're gonna be high. We all know
yeah,
they're gonna be high.
oh yes, and for the PVE plebs who might not know how this works, if the queue times are full, you can go into Edge of the Mist and play World v World
To
while you
work
wait
on.
to World v
Right,
World.
and you can work
So
on the Warclaw,
yeah,
unlocking in Edge of the Mists.
because you can cap towers and keeps in Edge of the Mist. You cannot cap camps in Edge of the Mist because Edge of the Mist has reactors for whatever the hell reason.
And if you're not sure where to get a good build, you can go to Meta Battle, find your favorite profession, and get yourself a good build for
And then
World
get
of World.
flamed for it because it's balance patch day and it doesn't work anymore.
This is true, so be aware of that because that balance patch is coming, and a lot of things that were functioning well and strongly in PvP modes, which includes WvW, are getting changed. Look at that segue.
Yeah, I'm hyped for the cat. So
Hype for
there
the
it is.
cats. So that balance patch is another thing that we're getting on Tuesday.
Yes.
A lot of, and they released the notes. Irenia went and posted them on Thursday night, I believe
Yep.
it was.
And boy, it's a novel.
It is quite long.
I considered reading Anna Karenina instead when I saw
That's
this
longer.
webpage.
The hyperbole is
it's
real.
it's so much.
It is very long. So we are Aaron and I like to we like to talk about builds and what works or whatever, but we're not like hardcore theory crafters. So that's our disclaimer.
I'll be honest, I don't follow builds at all.
No, we run around in that. Are you still in Knight's gear on your Guardian?
I don't want to talk about it.
Okay, I'm gonna take that as a yes. um, I follow the balance news a little bit more closely because I raid, um, and then I wait for the big brains to come up and tell me what's gonna work for when I can't figure out because I don't do math. Let's be real. I was an English major in college. Math and me, it takes a little while. So don't expect to get any kind of like guru knowledge on balance from either of us, if that's why you're here. However, we will summarize for you what we think are the important takeaways from these notes.
Yeah, so basically, like the takeaways that I have from this balance announcement is what I've been told by Twitch chat experts. So let's see. Let's see how.
I at least went into like Twitch streams that were talking about the balance patch. But
See,
go
I
on.
would do that, but I'm busy streaming.
Oh, see, I was doing this while I was at work. You work from home. You could just open up a tab.
Yeah, but I have to listen to things
Put it
for a
on low
living.
volume. That's what I do.
So I can't be listening to elder care calls and also a Twitch
That's
stream about
right.
Guild Wars 2 chrono balance, right?
Yeah, yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
So
there were a bunch of changes. So
yes,
let's talk about it.
let's talk about these. Let's start off with NG
Yeah. We'll
and
probably
scra-
it's the order they're listed on the page.
Yes, this is yes. So let's talk about NG and the scrapper changes coming. Gyros are getting some attention. They're changing their category from what are they now? Gyros?
They're
to
well. They're
wells.
on the so they're not. Your skill tooltip is not going to read well. It's still going to be gyro
Gyro.
on the back end, right? For the
Yeah, their
purposes
functionality
of
from the
props.
back end, they're going to be
Yeah,
functioning like wells,
they're
which
going to
I
function as
understand how to
well.
use wells. So
Yeah.
Scrapper, which I understand from again my WW friends, is meta in WW.
hmm
And the gyro changes they have got them excited.
I play Scrapper myself. I mostly play it in PvP, but the gyro buff is just too good across the board. It's going to be awesome in every game mode. I don't know that it's going to become viable in raids, but
I don't
um,
know.
in
Although
PvP and WW, this is very nice.
there is talk about from among some of my raiders hoping that it will become something that they could use in raids. I
I
will
much prefer
say
Scrapper to Hollowsmith.
no. Hollow's got really good DPS. Scrapper does not.
I just don't like Hollowsmith.
I think that Scrapper is a good support class, is what it seems like.
Oh yeah, and the
Um,
gyro buff lends to that.
and I think that that is good because, as we'll talk later on, some the druids are getting some nerfing going on.
Poor druid.
But hmm?
Poor druids.
Yes, but some of the recent balances have been trying to kind of like edge them, not so much out of the meta, but letting it be more viable for other classes to come in and
Well, because like the perfect world is everybody can play whatever they want,
right.
right?
That was in the
So like,
manifesto. See what he did?
so like they're trying to bring like they're never going to get there, right? But they're trying to bring things more. One word they kept using in the balance preview was making things word phrase making things more competitive with other traits and skills.
Yes.
So they'd like different options to be on a relatively even playing field. People will always math out the meta, right? But maybe now when a Tempest joins your group, you don't have an aneurysm, right?
Right.
You can be like, hey, we could roll with a Tempest. Like maybe it'll bring the attitude down
Yeah,
a
although they
little
are
bit.
making Tempest, we're jumping now classes, but they are making Tempest more and more supporty,
They are, yeah.
which it's always done really well.
hmm
Heal Tempest in raids can be quite good
hmm
because
And
it's a better
I'm
healer than Druid is. It's
again, I tend to lean towards the hot specs. Like I prefer Tempest to Weaver. I prefer Scrapper to Hollowsmith, right? Like I just do. So this balance patch is kind of working for me.
there you go.
It's kind of working for me.
So we just knocked two out of the park there.
I mean, but with the gyros on Scrapper,
yes,
um, they're buffing the two that I'm most excited about. Let's put it this way: they're buffing Medic Gyro, which I already use for the mobile protection field,
mm-hmm.
and now you get a pulse heal too, which is cool.
Yeah.
And then they're buffing Purge Gyro, which is going to be insanely powerful. It's going to be a pulsing well that moves with you, right? That clears a condition every second for 15 seconds.
Yeah, that could be pretty amazing.
That's ludicrous. So yeah, that's going to get like a flash nerf real quick, but it'll be fun. So I'm excited about it.
Yeah, I am too. I'm looking forward to seeing what it might just motivate me to unlock Scrapper because I've never actually finished unlocking that spec.
I don't know what that's like to not have every elite specialization.
I don't have every elite spec open. I don't
You need to do more World to World. After this week, you will.
because the hero points, right? You get them in.
Yeah, you get more testimonies of heroics than you could ever know what to do with.
Yeah. So
and chat does make a good point that they also changed gyros to you used to be able to destroy them in PvP. You cannot do that anymore. So not only are they better functionally, you can't destroy them anymore, which I think might be overpowered. Because when the only counterplay is that you can destroy them, and then you not only buff them, but you take that away. I don't know. That doesn't seem like a good idea. If they're going to
be functioning as wells, I mean, I know wells because I play Necro and Chrono. Wells disappear over time. So what is the decay on these going to be? They didn't say.
They didn't in the preview. I didn't see any duration reductions.
Right.
which is why people are assuming the durations on the skills right now, which is why Purge Gyro seems so stupid.
Yeah.
But chat does also make the point that Stealth Gyro is now going to have a mobile. What's the field that there's
Like a ring, an AoE
the
thingy.
one that you stealth with? What's that one?
Shadow's Refuge, kind of that one.
Smoke field. That's the one. Thanks,
Smoke
chat.
field.
There's
Thank you.
going to be
See,
a
we don't.
mobile
I don't
smoke
theme.
field.
Sorry.
Yeah, there's going to be a mobile smoke field with
Hmm.
Stealth Gyro, which is
That's kind of
since
cool.
since you can combo on that, that's ludicrously powerful,
Yes.
right? So yeah, Scrapper, you're going to be seeing a lot more Scrappers in PvP.
Yeah.
Welcome it.
Welcome it. Yes. Unless they become cancerous and everyone starts to riot.
Oh, day two, already awful.
Day one
Yeah,
is what I'm expecting, but hey.
yeah, absolutely.
All right. So moving on from NG, we did talk a little bit. We mentioned LAs are getting some Tempest love, Tempest buff. Rebound is now going to affect 10 targets. That's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool. That makes it much better in raids, right?
Yes.
You could save
And
a full wipe. You could save a full wipe.
yeah, which is going to be handy because the Druid spirits, we're not really sure what's happening with the Druid spirits on their active skill. Are they going to die? Because they're now going to be teleporting into the Druid. They're not just going to be sitting out there, and they can't
Mm.
res 10 people. No, the nature spirit reses 5 currently. But a well-timed nature spirit can be really, really amazing. Not so much anymore, I think. So yeah, so rebound could be a good in the hands of a well-trained, I think, elementalist.
Yeah,
Rebound can be
I
pretty
can't use
amazing.
rebound to save my life.
I'm gonna have to work on that.
Like, this is also super relevant. I don't know if it's super relevant. One of the people who play World v World in chat could um, put more thought into that. But it seems like it would be more relevant in World v World because the more targets you can affect, the more relevant something is in World v World by
Hmm.
default, right? So that's cool. Maybe you'll see that more. I
As a
don't know.
counterplay
Yeah, yeah,
to help
maybe
save the Zerg wipe.
in Zerg stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Um. So another thing is, and again, I don't LA, so take this for a grain of salt, but I know that this the boon output. People are already starting to theory craft that the boon output's going to be really good, um, so that you're getting some close to 100% uptime of might and fury and with significant stacks. So this is a good thing, I think, for nudging out or getting groups to start welcoming other classes other than just druids, because druids and chronos, for example, have been in the meta since raids came into the scene, um, and there are other things out there, guys. It's okay. Welcome them in. Give them a chat. Now, if it becomes that they're still not efficient, then people will ignore that and just keep doing what they're doing.
Mm-hmm. Truth.
Yes.
Truth.
Guardian, minor changes, some slight buffs and nerfs, buffs to signets.
Yeah, I was reading through. So, guys, I don't know Guardian super well. I play it a lot, but I play like a made up build that isn't a thing. So I don't know much about it. So when I was reading through these, it didn't seem like anything was too big of a deal. They're buffing True Shot on Dragon Hunter to 1500 range, which I was like,
Who
that's
uses?
crazy.
I mean, does anyone use the Dragon Hunter longbow?
No, but maybe they will now. They won't. Spoiler alert, they won't.
I mean, longbow used to be like top DPS, like long, like many years ago. It used to be the meta thing, the meta
Mhm.
weapon, but not anymore. It hasn't been for a while.
According to
Um,
chat, it's a huge nerf for Guardians. I guess it's a huge nerf. I don't know
I
Guardian
don't
enough.
know. My guardians have been telling me that they're happy about where this is going. My strong
Huh.
guardians. So
It might be a PvP
it might be a
nerf.
PvP, yeah, because
Guardian has been
like
very, very powerful in PvP for a long time, so the time might have come.
yes. One of the things that we mentioned a couple of weeks ago was that we were hoping that the next balance patch would show some splits, some more splits between PvE and PvP mode
Skill
skills.
splits are always good. Yeah,
So
and we see
I
a
was
lot of that
happy
in this game.
to see a lot of this happening in
Yeah.
in these notes. So yeah.
And chat is mentioning that one of the more severe Guardian nerfs, the nerf to critical chance on Righteous Instincts, is both PvE and PvP. Well, just
Yes.
what we're saying, like
From
overall
50%
in
to
the
25.
yeah, throughout this whole patch, I saw a lot of skill splitting between game modes, which I like a lot.
Yeah, and a lot of people have been mentioning that hybrid builds seem to be getting some love with this balance patch, which is an interesting change. Um,
Hmm.
will they
Yeah.
be still the most efficient for whatever you're running? We'll see.
Hmm. Yeah.
Um, but yeah. So, guard.
Yeah, chat says for Guardian, if you're using sword crit, more assassin's gear, less berserker, which is a net DPS loss due to the lack of power. Yeah, that's too bad. That's definitely a nerf to
You can change your
that particular.
food. I wouldn't be surprised if you saw food that has precision to power conversion come in.
Yeah, like that's definitely a nerf to that particular playstyle for Guardian, unfortunately.
So, um, I still think that Dragon Hunters, in particular, in at least the raid meta, will still be in a good
Oh, I
spot.
think Dragon Hunter should be deleted from the game.
Why?
They can endlessly block,
Well, yes, that
just
is that.
perpetually. Like you know how Deadeye used to be able to perma stealth.
Yeah.
That's Dragon Hunters with blocking. It just doesn't stop.
I know. So
It's
good.
permanent.
I know. When you've got that low base health pool, it kind of makes sense that they would have done that.
You ever fought a Dragon Hunter in World v World?
No, because
It's
I know
awful.
WW.
It's awful. Just say. Actually, don't delete Dragon Hunter because I want to make Ferris for my Guardian. So never mind. I take it all back.
It is a very nice longbow. I was
Yeah.
convinced. I didn't think that it would, but when I saw it in person on one of my Dragon Hunters, as a matter of fact, yeah, I was like, that is very nice.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Next is Mesmer, which is the class that I know pretty well, since it's all
You're
I
the
play.
you're the
I'm in
you're the
Chrono
mesmer
Jail.
person.
So some of the changes that had been rumored that were coming to Mesmer didn't happen, which made me happy. Tides of Time is going to be changed. They've changed so that you don't, when you cast it out, it will actually just come right back to you rather than kind of going off to the side sometimes. So you'd kind of have to like aim it, which is a little funky. And it's going to be giving you quickness when it goes out and alacrity when it comes back, which right now it currently just gives alacrity. And this is the new iteration because it used to just give quickness at one point. So now it's going to do both.
Huh. I mean
Um,
that's nice, right?
yeah. They've lowered the recharge time in PvE only for Signet of Humility, otherwise known as MOA Signet. From 180 to 120. This is a good thing since they, in the previous balance patch, they halved its CC bar strength. So now it's as
Mm-hmm.
good as Gravity Well, or as strong as Gravity Well. Gravity Well still has the lower cooldown, but the CC takes longer to kind of kick in. MOA is still safer in some fights because it's kind of an instant cast. They've lowered the recharge time on Well of Recall, which is your alacrity well. This is a good thing because more alacrity is more better.
Can't argue with that.
No. The big changes that are coming to Mesmer are to Mirage, and particularly in PvP modes. But the one thing that's going to be an overall change is the dodge on Mirage Cloak, that window, is going to be shortened up to made more like a normal dodge on every other class.
I like this.
Yeah.
Mirage was the band. So I made the ill-advised decision to farm for Ascension in PvP at the height of the Mirage invasion, and so what an
I
awful
know.
experience.
It's a crazy class.
Yeah. So and it was a class that could do too much while simultaneously not having enough drawbacks. And so giving it some drawbacks and reining it in a bit. Like, this is definitely not a full nerf to it, in my opinion. I think it's still pretty good. But like, I'll take anything. Like, I'll take whatever they can give me to depower that class a bit. So I'm pretty happy.
Yeah, so they're reducing the amount of torment stacks in PvP and World League from 3 to 1. That is huge because torment is
Their main thing.
well, yeah, torment and confusion are their main thing, and torment it works by your enemy moving. So the more they move, the more that condition ticks down their health, which is not fun, and it can kill you quite quickly.
It's awful in PvP.
Yeah. So there you go. Number of confusion stacks from Cry of Frustration, which is your Shatter 2, F2, has been decreased again from 2 to 1, and that's in all game modes. So yeah, some I think necessary nerfs to Mirage for the PvP game modes primarily.
It's still going to be powerful.
But
It's still going to be
I
tough to
think
deal with.
so as well. It's just it needed to be kind of brought into line.
Reined in a little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
It's still going to be annoying to fight if you don't know, like, if you're not good against Mesmers, which I get trashed by Mesmers every time. So I'm probably not going to do any better
Yeah.
against them, but there'll be a little more time for you to be able to hit them, which is always a good thing if you're fighting them.
And for all of you Power Chrono players out there, Danger Time, which was horrifically abused, I think it was a trait that would grant you increased damage over any enemy that had slow on them, which all you needed to do was have Well of Recall, I think, pumping out some slow.
Yep.
Yeah, so
Pour one out.
They're
Pour one out for Danger Time.
Danger Time has been nerfed. It's been halved, basically 30% reduction from 30% to 15% increased crit hit damage. So I still think Power Chrono is going to be in a good spot because if your group or you yourself were not able to maintain slow uptime well, then Danger Time was really not really helping you out as much as you probably thought it would be. So you can take something else. So I think P Chrono is going to be fine. I'm happy with these. I'm not.
As a Mesmer
main, I'm not dissatisfied with these changes. I think that they're good.
Mm-hmm. Chat is also claiming that Mirage is awesome and needs buffs. I take fundamental issue with that.
Mirage in which game mode?
I believe chat is trolling us, but
it needs more buffs, more all the time.
They also did mention though that the PvE, the nerfs for Mirage are PvP and World v World only, so it still leaves a place for them in PvP.
Yeah, they're gonna be fine.
Yeah.
So Mirage Raiders out there, you'll be fine. Don't freak out. It's gonna be you're gonna be fine. You'll still be abusing them on Largos Twins.
Why not?
Because why not? They move a lot, and hey, Mirages can pump it all out. Alright, that takes us to Necromancer, sorry.
Reaper buff.
Yeah, the one thing that I didn't forget was the Signet of Inspiration got its extension decreased by 2, but its recharge time was decreased. So you can apply it more often. It's kind of a wash. Anyway.
Yeah. They just changed it, but it doesn't really mean anything. Yeah.
Yeah. You're still gonna be seeing Chronos. Still be taking SOI. Necromancer Reaper getting some PvE buffs. Power Reapers, happy.
Yep. PvE buffs. There's a great sword skill that's going to do a whole lot more damage. Shouts are going to do a whole lot more damage. It's just going to be a fun day to be a Reaper in PvE.
Great Sword 4, which is the one that has the increased damage. That is the one that when you use it, it creates that AoE that inflicts a lot of conditions on
you. You do play a bit of Reaper, don't you?
I do.
Yeah, I don't play. I've never played it one time. Yeah.
Aaron, you need to play Reaper. It's so much fun.
Here's the thing: my Asura is this little, or my Necro is this little Asura.
All the better.
And I just I can't picture her with a great sword hacking people up. It just doesn't make any sense.
She whacks at their knees and kills them because they think she's just biting on their ankles. It's great.
Well, here's the thing, though. My current hardcore Iron Man character is a Necro,
Oh,
so
well, see,
I'll be
there you go.
playing. Yeah, I'll be playing
At
Reaper
some point, you'll be playing Reaper.
on that character. Yeah,
I approve of this.
yeah. So I'll be getting there.
Yeah. And there are some minor tweaks on Scourge things as well. But otherwise, uh, Necro's doing well. Necro came
Yeah,
out of this pretty well.
yeah. No real serious nerfs,
Mm-mm.
buffs to Reaper. Scourge is Scourge. I would.
I was
It's.
expecting to see some changes to Scourge in PvP or for PvP
I
again, but
would say
I
that
was
we have to live with Scourge. I would say the idea behind Scourge is fundamentally counter to what makes combat fair in Guild Wars 2. They just have too much area denial. It's just too much,
mhm,
right? Nobody should be able to do that. It's like Deadeye. They just had too much stealth. No one
right.
should be able to do that, right? So it's a class that I don't think they ever should have made in the first place. But now that we have it, we've made our bed. We're gonna lay in it, and I guess they're okay with that. So yeah, no major changes for Scourge.
Yeah. The one thing that chat rightly brings up is the change to Desert Shroud with the Herald of Sorrow trait. Changes Desert Shroud into Harbinger Shroud, which removes the pulsing effects of Desert Shroud and instead shifts into a single detonation after a 3-second delay.
With chat, which chat is saying is huge. I don't know enough about Scourge, I guess, to
So
register.
it's gonna deal damage, corruption, and conditions in one strike while providing barriers to your allies within the vicinity. So it's
Yeah,
going
that
to
seems.
barrier your allies and nuke the heck out of your enemies. That's pretty big.
Yeah, have enjoy that PvP. Enjoy that.
Yeah, because you know that that's going to be getting
Oh my
abused.
god, imagine playing on mid with that going
I
on.
mean,
All right, cool.
even if there's a 3-second delay
Enjoy that,
with a
PvPers.
good bit of alacrity, oh boy,
Yep.
that'll be interesting. So yeah, we'll see what happens there.
Yeah.
So so yeah, so that's Necro. Ranger, this is what you wanted for PvP, the Boon Beast.
Well, okay, so there's super, in my opinion, and I could be wrong. I haven't played enough Boon Beast to be like an expert, but there's some minor nerfs to the commonly used stances by Boon Beast right now.
Yes.
Um, it will affect the effectiveness, right? Less duration is a problem, but it's not enough of a nerf to make it not viable. So you're still going to be seeing people play Boon Beast very effectively. It's just you're gonna have to manage your rotation a little better now is the main thing if you want to be as effective as you were before.
Hmm. I'll have to try this out because
And they
that's
actually buffed the durations for some of the lesser used stances, so stances that people don't use so much actually got some love. So I think
yeah,
they just like to
there-
see Soul Beast being more
some
versatile in PvP.
yeah, and people taking more, having more
Hmm.
flavor, more
Yeah.
variety of Soul Beast out there. Um, it's tough because the Bear, Doliak, those are strong ones.
Hmm.
Um,
They're
the
all good. Like all those stances are
yeah,
good.
they are.
It's just the ones that lend themselves best to 2v1ing or 1v2ing, for example, happen to be Moa stance. What's the other one I use?
Doliak, which doesn't.
Doliak stance and Griffin stance. People will swap out either Griffin or Doliak stance depending on how you want to play.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are the three main ones that people use. Bear stance, just people ain't using it, right? So yeah,
I mean,
I think they just,
Bear stance, if you're a stance chair, it's got that nice Condi cleanse.
yeah, I think that's what they want from people is just to branch out a bit more with Soul
Mhm.
Beast.
And the durations, the reductions, they're not too bad. I mean, 4 seconds, 4 seconds to 5, 5 to 4, reduced from 6 to 5. Yeah. Bear stands increased from 4 to 5. One wolf pack reduced from 8 to 6 in PvP only.
That would hurt. Like that is a big deal because one wolf pack
Is
is
super
how
strong.
you kill people with Boon
Yeah.
Beast. Fun fact with Boon Beast, very little DPS. You don't have very much.
Mm.
So when you do your spike, you have to pop one wolf pack if you
Yeah.
want to kill anybody.
Hmm.
So that's going to narrow the window you have to execute your spike in PvP.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're gonna have to be a little more skillful, a little more careful with how you
Yeah.
implement
Although
one
they are
wolf pack,
reducing the casting time of it by half a second to
which is
kind of
really
help
good. It was so
compensate.
annoying. It was so
Yeah.
annoying the long cast time on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I do like the reduction in cast time.
So the major rework that they're doing for rangers deal with spirits. They're trying to make them more actively used and rather than just cast them out there and let people get the benefits and just forget about them until they die and then respawn them.
Kind of a preview of what we're going to be seeing with banners a little later here.
Right. They've decreased the radius from 1,000 to 600. And then if the ranger moves away from the spirits within Mesmer portal range, 5,000, which is huge, the spirits will die. So you should still see the spirits around, depending on the mode you play in. Again, Raider here. But they're not going to be effective. So you are going to be having to actively either destroy them or reposition them. Because when you activate them now, they're going to be teleporting in towards the druid. And their activation skill will go off to kind of give your party those benefits. And then they decay passively as they pulse out their effect onto your party, which is a bit of a change. So I'm not clear, and most of the druids that I've been speaking to aren't clear on whether or not you can actually actively kill them when you activate them, as you could before. I don't see why they would have changed it, but because the notes don't actually say that they die, a lot of people are thinking that they won't die, that they'll just decay. They'll stay alive and then they'll just continue to decay.
Which is kind of a callback to how they used to work in Guild Wars 1, where they would lose health
Right.
as you used abilities.
And you can heal spirits,
Mm-hmm.
which I always thought was a bit unfair, but hey.
Maybe it's a conspiracy to help support Tempest because they can heal a lot, right? And then
I wouldn't be surprised, and I'm already actually thinking about it, like what would happen if we bring in a heal druid and a tempest,
mm-hmm. Just
and then
keep
have
the
the heal tempest, which can pump out so much healing, sustain them along with the rest of the party.
Yeah.
What would that do?
You heard it here first, guys.
Yeah, I'll be experimenting next week in some of my groups. So, other things, bonfire. This is another soul beast thing. Bonfire is getting increased burning duration from 2 seconds to 2.5. Burning is good. One of the strongest conditions, right? It's good. Poison. Poison master, that they fixed the trait there, but ambidexterity is no longer going to be split between game modes and now taking the highest stat value in all modes, and that affects recharge on torch skills. So there's speculation that soul beasts who have been doing short bow rather than short bow dagger torch, the death of SB3 is imminent.
Yeah. I always like torch as a condi weapon. It's very simple on ranger, right? You throw it and you put a thing down, but super good damage. So more damage, I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
I don't play torch anymore, but it was fun. So
yeah, and soul beast. If you play the meta soul beast builds out there, it's not a overly taxing class rotation wise, and it's fun
because soul beast has condi and power builds for it, right? Yeah.
Yes.
I play the power, but yeah, they do have a condi rotation. Does that use torch?
Yes, that's the one that I play.
Right. Very cool.
Yeah, I have a power soul beast gear. I just haven't played around with it.
Yeah.
And I just kind of gravitate towards condition builds naturally. Um, so it's what I picked up first and loved, and now I'm like, oh, I gotta learn that power soul beast. But
Gotcha.
yeah. All right, moving on from the ranger. Revenants. Reduced PvE condition damage. I don't understand this. So this is going to affect renegades. Condition renegades, which are in
Did
new
you
meta
read the little
currently.
blurb they posted? They said that
They
I
think
don't know
that condition
anything
they
about.
can. I don't play Revenant enough,
Yeah, I don't know anything
but
about
they
it
think
either.
that it's got excessive condition damage.
I didn't know that, but I
Um,
guess.
I I I think that Revenant has been this kind of like stepchild class for them that they've ever since it's come into the game they're not quite sure what they want to do with it. Um,
It's because it doesn't make any sense.
I mean, we'll forget about how this origin story comes about, but yeah. Um, and then bolstering, so they're going to be bolstering their damage in PvE. Power Revenant play is getting some buffs as well in PvE, which I know is making some of my Power Revenant players happy.
I play
Um,
Power Rev on my Rev. I don't
okay.
play
Are you
it
excited
very
about
much.
these changes then?
Yeah, should be good.
You like?
Yeah, I play Sword Shield Herald in PvE, which is probably just gave somebody a mild heart attack in chat, but I do play that, so works for me.
Works for you. Yeah,
Yeah,
I've always done Sword Axe, Mace Axe. There's one that
I don't like mixing power and condi weapons.
I do, but I like hybrid builds.
Yeah, I used to play a really bad one, and they've been teasing me about it in chat as well. I
Mm-hmm.
used to play a really bad one I made up back in like 2013 on my
Uh-huh.
Ranger, and I played it all the way
Celestial
up.
Ranger.
Yeah, I played
Yeah.
it all the way up until last year or
I
this year.
remember it. I'm like, why are you
Yeah,
playing Celestial Ranger? You're like, but it's so good. And I'm like,
it's
really?
here's the thing. I knew it was bad. I knew it was bad,
But you
but
had fun with it.
I put so much work because you have to. There's a really heavy time get on building celestial gear,
Mm-hmm.
so I'd taken so much time to make it. I was like, no, I'm using my celestial gear.
Forever.
Yeah, forever. I finally swapped out, and I'm so glad I did.
Yeah.
So I've kind of gotten burned on hybrid belts.
Yeah. Power Rev needs more buffs, is what Zarelli is saying, than what they've been given. Um, that's a fair point. I think Power Revenant, when they when it was first introduced, was quite good, and it was in the meta, at least in raids, and then it fell out. And ever since then, players who've had Revenants remember those heydays and want it back.
I remember the Revenant sword auto attack meta. Yeah,
Was yes,
yeah.
yes,
And chat is also mentioning that it's weird that they didn't nerf Rev Hammer for WW because the Zerg DPS is just too high.
yeah,
Which blew my mind when I heard about this the other day because I was like, really, Hammer? But
yeah.
yeah, apparently it's very good in Worldly World, so they did not nerf that, apparently.
No, I was surprised about that as well. But
Maybe I
I
think they just like Worldly Worlders being happy with something.
maybe Zarelli's still against the hammer nerf. It's already been nerfed. But Zarelli, if I remember correctly, Zarelli, you actually play hammer in World v World now on your Revenant still. I know you were tweeting out some old screenshots of your Revenant with the hammer, and we're giving the explanation of "don't lose your shit." Basically, is what she was telling her followers. This is why I have this weapon equipped. Um, yeah. So I'm hoping that Renegade survives this nerf.
Was it alive
Because
to begin with?
yes, Conde Renegade is really strong right now in raids,
See,
and I need
I
them
never
on
know
2
the
for their
raid
boon
meta.
strips. So
I never know the raid meta.
see, I know this is why you need to come in with us.
Maybe after I get legendary
I
armor.
know you
Once I
told me
have
that the
that,
other day, and I got really excited.
once I have that, I can swap builds easily, and I won't have to worry about
Yeah,
re-gearing.
Josh, hold him to that.
I
All
said
right.
maybe.
It'll be fun. You'll have fun with us. It'll be just come in, have
Oh
fun with us.
boy,
I'm not gonna let you forget it
get
now.
yelled at about my DPS.
Oh,
Sounds like a
stop.
great time.
Do I yell about anyone about their DPS? I've got some of my raiders there in chat. They know.
I mean, you don't yell to me, but I'm sure you yell to somebody about it.
No, I don't. No. Okay. Anything else on Revenant? Or we're gonna, if not, we're gonna be moving on
I
to
just
Thief.
don't know enough about Revenant.
It's all right. Um, that's okay. We did give them the disclaimer that we're not the theory crafting gurus. If you've come looking for that, you've come to the wrong place.
Yeah,
Here's your overview.
yeah.
Um,
WP has a 2-hour video. Like,
he does
go
with
watch that.
boots, and I haven't
Yeah.
actually finished watching it. I started watching it yesterday while I was at work, and I had people in and out of my office, and I couldn't listen. So I was like, I'm gonna have to watch you at home, and I haven't done that. But I will before Tuesday because I like listening to Boots and WP. They get a little crazy excited about things. Thief. Deadeye stealth took a hit.
Yep. They reduced the stealth on Silent Scope. It was by 2 seconds. I think they released it from 3 seconds to 1 second, if I remember correctly.
Yes, which is gonna
Um,
end PvP and World v World. So this is another PvP mode change.
this was, to my knowledge, and I don't play Deadeye, but I hate playing against Deadeyes. To my knowledge, this was one of the integral skills in their stealth chain that enabled them to stealth with near impunity. And now we're going to have a much larger window to actually hit a Deadeye in return. Because before, what I personally found to be so unfair about Deadeye was that they could nearly 100 to 0 you and then just disappear. And you didn't have a chance to retaliate before they just do the same thing over again, right? So this kind of doesn't nerf their damage, but it nerfs their ability to affect that damage, which I think is a good way to do it. So I'm glad because I hate Deadeyes.
Yeah, and the one thing that I've heard about them is that they can abuse stealth
Yeah.
in a way that
Yep.
the other regular thief specs don't
It's ludicrous.
or
What they
cannot.
what they were able to do up till now with stealth is just,
So it was a bit broken.
yeah, just no.
Too OP. So
Yeah.
being toned down.
Here's the thing. Their effectiveness was limited to begin with because if you are a Deadeye, you'll get destroyed if you go up against two people. But if you go up against one person, unless that person happens to be a very good player, you're probably going to kill him, right? Just by virtue of the tools you have at your disposal. I don't think that's fair,
Right.
right? So I'm kind of glad they implemented this change.
Yeah. And they've also changed how pistol main hand repeater is the thing. They're doing a flip over to repeater on it was dagger and pistol, which has not had it. Usually you see repeater on was it dual pistols?
Dual pistols is unload. Repeater is when you have a pistol and nothing else, I want to
Correct.
say.
Yeah, I think that's correct.
And if you get a mini unload, I think I don't know Thief. You don't have to
Our
like,
thieves in chat can correct us. I'm
yeah,
reading
you
from
don't
the
have to like lose it at me.
I'm
I
reading from the
think
notes.
that's
It
what that
says
is.
repeater for builds that use a pistol in their main hand with no offhand weapon. The damage of this skill has been increased by 20%. That's pretty good.
Can I ask a question?
You can try. I can try to have an answer.
Do people do that? Just use a pistol with no offhand? People do that.
Yeah, because what you end up doing is you equip your main hand in one of your weapon swap sets, and you equip your offhand in the other weapon swap set. And then when you weapon swap, you're still on the same.
Sure, but you won't have access to repeater, right? Or will you? Will that give you access to repeater because it
Apparently
doesn't
it
register
does.
it as a combo?
Apparently it
That's
does.
nuts, dude.
Yeah,
I did not know that worked.
20%
I didn't know you
increase.
could do that.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know you could do that, dude. That's wild. I thought they meant people were just running around with a pistol. And I was like, do you do that?
Really? Yeah. Striking with a foe with the skill now applies 4 seconds of bleeding per hit. That's pretty big because bleeding is pretty strong.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, just because it's so stackable. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, Thieves, you got a little bit of love there for that weapon combination. I don't know how many people will actually be taking that weapon combination, but hey,
Yeah, who knows?
Eh,
Maybe people will now.
maybe people
Right.
will now. Maybe they will. All right. Anything else on Thief that you wanted to bring up?
I mean, I'm just glad that Deadeyes are finally going to be maybe manageable. Maybe?
Yeah. You know who we
So
should have consulted on Thief is Age. He loves
yeah,
his thieves.
he's gutted about it. I already know.
And
Every time they nerf Thief, he's gutted about it.
I know. Yeah. And lastly, then Warriors. They're changing banners. Banners can now, they will no longer have skills. Okay. And they can only be placed picked up by the summoner. So they'll work
That is the
like.
best part.
That
This
is the best part. I know. So it's going to work like empty turrets. Um,
Yes.
as someone who always finds herself with a banner in her hand, going, "Why the hell do I have this banner in my hand?"
Yeah. You're just in the middle, like you're just in the middle of like Dragon Stand or something, right? And then you look down at your skill bar and you realize
It's like
you're
my
doing your
skills
rotation
yeah.
on a banner.
What's this? Yeah. It's not happy times. So
Yeah.
I'm super excited about this change. They have reduced. Uh, they have done some reductions on the 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 buffs that they give out.
Yeah.
Um,
It's a
which
nerf overall.
it's a nerf, yeah.
Mhm.
So I know that some warriors are already thinking, "Ooh, what are we gonna do here?" But maybe the banner meta needed to die. I don't know.
It's a
We'll see.
significant nerf too, 170 down to 100. That's a lot.
That is.
That's a lot. So,
So,
if you
um,
could find a way to crank out DPS that would be better than plus 100 power, for example, then yeah, you could.
although I'm already seeing talk again of having a food change that could help tweak you over, which is what chronos were doing with food.
Mhm.
To to affect their boon duration, for example. Um, so I don't know. We'll see. Winds of Disenchantment, which is a spellbreaker skill. It's now a channeled skill,
This is a buff.
and it's going to follow the warrior. So you
It's
can no longer just
basically
place it and walk away.
it's Guardian Shield 5 now. But on steroids.
So
It's a very nice buff
its
for
pulse
spellbreakers.
time though has been reduced from 1 second to half a second, with the duration remaining at 5 seconds. So breaking the channel will now destroy the spell. So it's gonna actually root you,
Hmm.
even though it will follow you around. Which
No, it's mobile. It's not going to root
it's
you.
gonna be
It's
mobile.
mobile.
But the channel, if you don't channel skills in general tend to root you though.
No, you can move around with it while the thing channels if you break the channel by using a different skill
I
or
got
something.
you. All right.
Yeah.
See, this is why I need you here.
Chat's saying it's a nerf. I would say in SPVP it is a nerf because throwing the bubble down on a point is super powerful. In WvW, being able to move around with it, I don't know. I think it's cool. I think it's cool. Fight me. I think it's cool.
I'll have to see it used. That's kind of how I work on these things. All right. And then the change to inspiring battle standard trait. It's been renamed to doubled standards, and no longer causes banners to reply regen, instead causing the warrior to gain 5 seconds of swiftness when summoning or picking up a banner.
Someone pointed this out to me on a couple streams ago.
Uh-huh.
Is that this skill can now potentially down 10 people instantly. That's a pretty big deal for World v World. It's still a 2-second cast, but that's faster than a stomp, right? Stomp's 3 seconds, I want to say. Could be wrong, but so it's nice.
Yeah.
It's
Banner
nice.
effect improvements that are gained when this trait is equipped have been increased from 50 to 100%. Yikes.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. So changes are coming. The meta is changing at an alarming rate, is the meme. I don't think overall this is I don't think this is going to hugely impact gameplay as some other balance patches have. I could be wrong. But the overall sense that I get is that this is a fair balance patch, I think.
Oh yeah, and chat did mention that what I meant to say is it can stomp 5 people. It can potentially res 10 people.
Yeah.
Which is because the banner raises 5, and then 5 can rally off of the kills it gets. So it's a rally for 10, not a stomp for 10. Still very cool.
Yeah.
I did think it was funny what you mentioned about the balance changing at an alarming rate,
That's the main.
because this is something that bothers me, okay?
Yes.
When the meta will change when there has not been a patch. This breaks my brain when I'll because I stream a lot, right? And so
Hmm.
I'll like one week I'll hear like, oh yeah, X, Y, and Z is the meta. I'll be like, oh cool, I'll file that away in my brain. That's the meta now.
Hmm.
Also, I'll be talking about it the next week, like, yeah, I heard that was really strong, and people are like, no, it's dead. And I'm like, there was no patch.
Right.
How?
Yeah. People tested it out, didn't like it,
I
shifted to
don't
something else.
I
It's
don't
dead.
understand.
Yeah.
I'm too small brain for this, guys.
It's all right. More testing. More testing. Yes. Yes.
I guess that's my problem is I would find something good and I would be like, all right, let's stop testing.
That's it. Yeah.
Whereas the giant neckbeard nerds out there are like, no, we have to run it 100 more times.
Yeah.
And
Um,
so the meta changes on a weekly basis based on just neckbeards playing too much. Cool.
I don't know. You just insulted a good portion of players out there, but hey.
Come at me. Just follow my Twitch channel when you do. That's all I
I
ask.
just want to go on the record that it wasn't me. So,
Inks, what did you say about my neck, dude? Takes one to know one.
all right. So anything else on any of what we've talked about so far? Did you know what you left out of the notes? Gem store
What?
stuff.
Oh yeah. Is there anything new though, or is it just returning?
Returning. Returning. Some things are on
Um,
sale. Some things are not on sale. Some things are back in the store. Some things have left.
Filthy, help me out.
We don't have a summary for you. Press O.
Gem store. Oh no, that's from dude.
They were very
Yeah,
brief.
there's some
They
wings on sale, right? There's some wings. I think.
could be. They announced it on their Twitter. Is what their post yesterday said.
Oh, it's the March Madness sales. Actually, that is important, isn't it?
Have they
Yeah.
started?
So there's a different sale every day in March.
Say on sale today. This
Um,
is 9 hours ago.
yeah.
On sale today in the Guild Wars 2 Gem Store. 20% off the Path of Fire Preparation Pack.
So if you want to self-identify as a noob, you can go ahead and buy that.
Just don't equip the tiger that comes with it or the outfit that comes with it. You'll be fine.
Can you imagine buying that? Like,
The prep pack. People do.
yeah, I know. That blows my mind that people buy that. It's so pointless.
Yesterday on sale were at 20% off the Crystalline Dragon Wings glider and the Vine Touch Destroyer glider combo.
Yeah, and
So
that is no longer a thing now, obviously. Right? But they're only one day.
I believe they were only one day. I didn't see them in there today, but I
Yeah.
actually wasn't looking for them either. So
Do you check the gem store on a daily basis?
no.
Ah,
Do you?
no.
Okay.
It sounded like you did. You were like, I didn't see him in there today.
No, well, I actually was in the gem store earlier today for something else,
Hmm.
and I didn't see them advertised on the little scrolly wheel, which is usually where they are.
Because there are some people that are so excited about the gem store that they check it every
I
day.
know. Yeah. I
Is
get
there a
excited
new way
about
for me to
certain
be a
things.
whale today?
Yeah. All right. So that was your gem store news, and then community stuff. In light of the layoffs and all the devs that we lost, we did want to kind of give a shout out to Blue Jasmine, who is in our chat today, for organizing the celebration of Love and Support event that happened on the 28th, February 28th. It happened on EU and NA. It was a good success. Lots of good posts that went up on Reddit. A lot of screenshots. She collected a lot of screenshots. So she's going to be updating an Instagram account called Love for ArenaNet Screenshots. If you have any screenshots that you want to send to her, you can send those to her at lovefораrenanet screenshots at gmail.com. It's rather long. But yeah, if you've got any, send those her way. But yeah, it was a good event. I was able to get to it after work on Thursday, and it was a nice turnout. Nice turnout of people. Just showing the devs some love, and then because the screenshots got shared out on social media. Devs who are still following community people were able to see it and express their appreciation. And that's one of the things that Mike Z mentioned yesterday in the live stream, was that the devs have really appreciated all of the community outpouring of support. And he did ask for that support and love to please keep coming their way, because they are still healing from the trauma of all of these layoffs.
That's the type of stuff we need this week. We don't need the whole subreddit could just be deleted this week.
There were some good threads on the subreddit, and then there were some trolley threads. And yeah, but
let's say it was like a 90-10 towards trolley threads.
Yeah, it's the subreddit. There has been a call to make this an annual event, like an ANET, just Dev Appreciation annual event to happen on February 28th every year. But if the community wants that to happen, Blue is going to need help. So if you are interested, please give her a follow on Twitter. Her Twitter is Blue Jasmine, BLUJASMINE, and send her a DM, or you can email her at bluejasminegw2@gmail.com, and let her know if you're willing to give her a hand, because community events, they take a lot of planning and preparation. Not just to set the date and get people together, but then like, well, what are we going to do when we're all in there? So planning activities, planning any kind of prizes that come around with that, or come along with that.
Theory crafting how to deal with toxicity during.
Yeah, and so I mean, she was having to kind of adjust on the fly, and with some trolls that did come in towards the beginning. And
when
she was able to mod some people in the squad to kind of, and Discord to help that.
I'll always remember when I was part of a guild leadership and we would plan events, the first thing we would ask is like, okay, how are people going to ruin this? It takes a lot of theory crafting, guys. You'd be amazed what humans are capable of.
You've got to plan for the unexpected with events like this. So if you are able and willing to help Blue turn this into an annual event, please get in touch with her. And we'll see if that comes about.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Dude, look at that. An hour and 40 minutes. An hour and 45 minutes.
For how cram-packed the list of to-do items for this show was, I think we ran a tight ship.
We did.
Yeah.
Good job.
We went okay.
Anything else you want to end with?
I'm sad for ArenaNet. I'm proud of the people who stepped up and were like, let's be positive. And I'm pumped about the War Claw, guys.
Yeah.
Pumped about the War Claw.
Yeah.
Everybody go get your War Claw on Tuesday. Yes. Don't sleep on it. Go get it.
Yeah. Just queue up for World.
Yeah. Queue, and if it's full, hit Edge of the Mist.
Yeah. And prepare yourselves. Make sure you got your boosters. Make sure you got a good build that you're going to be able to survive on and travel around with. Not that you'll be one shot on. And if you are stucky PvP player like I am, it's okay. If you die, you can respawn, and it's alright.
Oh, just run Scourge. Just join a Zerg and run Scourge.
There you go. Or do that.
Yeah.
or play Mesmer and escape a lot with blinks.
True. Yeah.
Or stealth yourself. But yeah. All right. So if the good people want to give you a follow, Aaron, where can they find you?
At Guild Wars Monk, all one word, on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. Just go there. Find me.
Yeah, and you can follow me at InkySticks on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. Yes, just search for InkySticks on YouTube. I don't have very much content on my YouTube channel. It's mostly a few raiding videos that I distribute to my raiders. But yeah, and if you want to give us a follow, we are TyriaNow on Twitter and Twitch. And
live every 2 weeks.
Live every 2 weeks, and if you want to get in touch with the show, our email is TyriaNow@gmail.com. Everything is down below in the info panels. So yeah, we will see you. Yeah, that's all we got for this week's show.
That's episode 4.
That's episode 4. It's It's a wrap.
Yeah, we did it.
We did it. Yay.
When is our next show? I
Congrats.
didn't check the date.
Our next show will be March 16th. We actually need to talk about that because I'm going to be on vacation. So we need to talk about how we're going to coordinate this. Okay.
True.
So barring any kind of weirdness, our next show will be on March 16th. We'll be back here at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. Yeah, with episode 5. So hopefully we will see you guys. Thank you for coming out. And we'll see you next time.
Follow the channel.
Follow the channel. Get alerted.
That's my goodbye.
Bye, guys.